We're pretty much at the top of the food chain here in terms of SUVs with these two models. They're large, they're thirsty, they're expensive, they're powerful, and they are ego-driven. So what have we got?
Well, in the very bright, very orange corner, we have the 2020 Range Rover Sport SVR.
And in the blue corner, a 2019 Maserati Levante GTS.
When you said these two SUVs were powerful, that kind of undersells them. These are absolutely obscenely powerful. For instance, under the Range Rover, we have a 5-liter supercharged V8. It's good for 575 horsepower and 516 pound-feet of torque. What you got in the Maserati?
Just a Ferrari-built, twin-turbocharged, 3.8-liter V8, 550 horsepower.
And they're also very close in price, too. They both start around just under $140,000, but obviously once you start piling on the options, they tend to command a pretty penny. So let's say we quit yapping and hop into one of these obscenely powerful and rather excessive Luxo SUVs.
Let's do it. So here we are in the 2019 Maserati Levante GTS. This is a new model for 2019. The Levante is Maserati's first effort at an SUV. And I have to say, they've done a pretty good job.
Well, first you have to look past all the black. And then you realize that, okay, the stitching is nice and tight. The leather feels amazing. It's very smooth, buttery smooth. The seats are quite comfortable, and would you believe it, the layout is actually pretty intuitive.
Yep, we can thank the Chrysler-based infotainment system. I love the graphics. It's clear, it's precise, and it's easy to use.
It has one thing the Range Rover Sport does not have: Apple CarPlay and Android Auto connectivity. The only real drawback, and I'm not really a big fan of this setup here. When you shift gears, the knob kind of gets in the way. No, what this thing does very well is cruising. It's very comfortable, and it's very quiet too. It can also boogie. Flick it into sport mode, and this thing goes.
According to Maserati, this will do 0 to 100 in 4 seconds.
It's quick. I'm going to go out on a limb and say that the Levante is the more athletic of the two.
It is, and here's the kicker. I don't want to say Range Rovers are common as dirt, but realistically, chances of finding one on your block is a whole lot easier with the Range Rover than it is a Levante.
Well, why don't we see how the other outrageous matte orange vehicle stacks up?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. And here we are in the matte orange pumpkin, also known as the 2020 Range Rover Sport SVR.
Basically the highest performance version. Both ride pretty good.
The key difference between the Range Rover and the Levante is this.
Obnoxious mode.
Yeah.
Now, $170,000. I mean, it's wearing what, $36,000 worth of options? It's got a lot of carbon fiber inside.
You can buy a camp roof for that.
Yeah, you sure can. Yeah, this would probably just about attract every cop within 10-15 kilometers.
And you would not get any sympathy.
None.
Don't look at that.
I really want an SUV that is faster than a sports car from 10 years ago.
And that's not to say the SVR is less capable than your standard Land Rover or Range Rover. You still have a bunch of various off-road modes.
Yeah, it is highly capable.
Not that you would take an SVR off-roading.
No. And of course the downside is just miserable fuel economy, certainly in the city.
Oh, for sure.
I mean, I was averaging somewhere around 17, 18 liters per 100 kilometers in the Levante. I don't think this is any better, really.
you're going to have to live with this on a daily basis too. And that means putting up with the infotainment system. On the surface, it looks pretty, the graphics are sharp, but it's kind of slow to respond. It doesn't have Apple CarPlay or Android Auto. And this second touchscreen on the bottom that controls the climate controls, vehicle settings and all that, it's not the easiest to use.
I found the navigation screen, the map, almost useless to use, certainly in certain light conditions. You know, with Range Rover, it's better to look good than to be functional.
But I do feel like the materials are just a tiny bit better in the SVR because you do get some very nice metal accents here.
Yeah, a little too much carbon trim for my liking, but you know, it's your money. Spec it out the way you want.
Well, let's say we hop out and figure out which one comes close to winning this.
Yeah, it's going to take some thinking.
It is.
Do we have a clear winner? I don't think so.
No, we don't. Obviously, in its current spec, the Range Rover is a lot more ostentatious. It's a lot more flashy than the Maserati.
It's a boy racer, let's face it.
Matte orange tends to give off that vibe.
Yeah. You got no excuse when the police pull you over. No, you're getting a ticket. On the other hand, there is a slightly patrician air to the Levante. I mean, it's bold, but certainly in comparison, it is understated.
It's almost as though the Levante GTS comes across as an Italian Cayenne. It's like you said, it goes about its business smoothly and it doesn't make a big deal about it. I mean, even without the matte orange paint, the Range Rover SVR is still pretty excessive.
The key thing is price. $153,000 as equipped and $170,000 for that.
As tested.
Yeah. When it comes down to it, my pick is the Levante GTS.
It isn't shouty, it doesn't make a big deal every time you prod the gas pedal. Strangely, it's more practical. It's easier to live with. I think I'll go with the Levante as well.
There you have it. For Driving.ca, I'm Brian Harper.
And I'm Nick Trejanis. And before you go, don't forget to subscribe and tell us what we should compare next.